rope skipping courses are also offered in gyms. The sport is not yet developed quite that far in Germany. Many people don't even know rope skipping is a sport or simply can't imagine it. The first World Championships of rope skipping took place in 1996 in Australia. In the 80s, rope skipping came to Germany through various student exchange programs. Here, unfortunately, it was somewhat lost for the first decade, not belonging to any major club and not officially subordinated or grouped. A lot of preliminary work was necessary for recognition. Training programs, coach education, competition rules, and much more were developed. In the meantime, the course has been set for us as well because for a few years now, rope skipping has officially become part of the German Gymnastics Federation, and more clubs are offering this sport for the first time because they, too, have become enthusiastic about this sport. But now, briefly to the name of the sport. In Germany, it is known as rope skipping. Translated, one could comparatively also say rope skipping. This term comes from Canadian transmissions. In the USA, however, the sport is called jump rope, or the activity of jumping rope is called rope jumping there, which is why a lot of information on the internet can be found not only under the European known rope skipping, but also under jump rope and rope jumping. No matter what it is called, the main thing is that it is fun. Prevention, health, and fitness. Jumping rope is the perfect endurance workout. From the outside, it may seem like a lower body workout, but anyone who has tried it for themselves will notice how out of breath you get after just a few minutes of jumping. Depending on the intensity of the workout, you will later feel the strain on large muscle groups of the lower as well as the upper extremities, such as arms and legs. In the upper body, mainly the shoulder area and arms are used. In the lower body, thigh, calf, and foot muscles. By using these several large muscle groups, rope skipping becomes an endurance sport which can be adapted in its intensity to every person in every form of the day due to the many variable parameters. The faster you jump, the more intensively your cardiovascular system has to work, which is the basis of good endurance training. By exercising regularly for 20 to a maximum of 30 minutes for about 3 to 5 times a week, you can reduce the risk of various cardiovascular diseases such as high blood pressure, heart attack, and stroke, or other diseases such as diabetes and osteoporosis, as well as reduce the risk of cancer. Not only the cardiovascular system and your endurance benefit from this ingenious sport, but also your coordination, speed, agility, and strength. The main focus of the training is certainly on endurance. Rope skipping is simply a super endurance sport. The intensity can be well adjusted by different parameters, as described in the chapter Jumping Techniques. Not only the speed directly influences the intensity, but also the type of jump and how much muscle mass is active. Rope skipping also puts a lot of strain on coordination. The coordination of arms and legs alone is already a challenge for beginners during the basic jump. In addition, there are always ways to make the jump even more complicated and coordinatively challenging. If a jump becomes too easy or monotonous for you, jump it forward, backward, at a different speed, or even more difficult, in double under. Several figures have to be executed to the music with well-tuned hand-foot coordination and additionally with the appropriate timing of the rope and a good sense of time. In the process, one or the other time not only a knot is created in the rope, but also in your arms or even in your thoughts. The old saying, "practice makes perfect," is apt here. Often it makes more sense not to pay too much attention to the execution, but to let your thoughts run free and just jump on it. If you have found the usual balance training too dry, you have also found a solution here. Rope skipping also promotes balance, especially if single leg jumps are integrated into your training. Of course, the speed is mainly promoted at very fast speeds of the ropes. In this training area are usually only competitive or professional athletes. Also, train or challenge some figures in the area of agility. One of the reasons why the rope skipping belongs to the German Gymnastics Federation. Some gymnastic elements can also be performed in the rope which are rather intended for advanced gymnasts. For the flexibility and thus the execution of certain jumps, stretching within the training sessions is inevitable. Otherwise, the risk of injury can increase significantly. Rope skipping is definitely not a strength training that promotes strong muscle building. Nevertheless, strength can also be improved during training. The leg strength is used the most, which can also be increased by the jumps.